Good afternoon, Gossip Talk Show's family. Is Nomsa here at Gossip Talk Shows. Find your own voice. Sorry, guys, we had some really technical problems. So the topic today is jealousy a sign of love or insecurity? Have you ever felt that pang of jealousy and wondered, does this mean I love them more, or is there something else going on? Jealousy is one of those powerful emotions that can make us question our relationships and ourselves. So, Grant, what do you think about this topic?
I think it's a really great subject. And of course, me coming from a musical background, it can't help but make me think of the famous song by John Lennon. Okay. Jealous Guy. Great song, and what are the lyrics? I was dreaming of the past and my heart began beating fast. I began to lose control. I began to lose control. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. And I love that great song. Been covered by many people, but it's a brilliant subject because, oh boy, what do we do? Is it a sign of affection? I mean, really, you only get upset if you care about someone, maybe, or is it too much? Is it a sign of insecurity? A big debate. It will rage for decades, if not centuries, maybe thousands of years. What is the answer? What's your experience? What do you think? We pose two options, two questions. We don't judge. We just want to know what your opinion is. So if you're out there, we'd love you to message us on social media. Let us know what your experience, what your thoughts are. There's the question: is it a sign of affection? Is it a sign of love, or is it just showing your insecurity? Jealousy, the big word that begins with J and ends with Y. And at one point or another, it's either affected us personally or we've seen it. Nomsa, where does this play out in life? Where have you seen this? Where have you seen it?
To me, I believe that I don't think jealousy is love. I don't think it's a sign of love. I think it is insecurity and fear of abandonment. When someone is in fear, they feel that they are not good enough or they were hard before, and then sometimes it could be a fear of being judged as well. And because if you're feeling jealousy, it's no longer love. So that's for me, that is my take. That it's like there's so many insecurities, or sometimes it could be insecurities of low self-esteem.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it's just a different, or maybe anxious attachment as well. So there's lots of insecurities that the list that you can put out there when someone is feeling jealousy. I don't know. What do you think?
I My personal view is I think you're right. It's normally a lack of self-esteem. Now, let's be really honest. There can be, I'm not going to say mitigating circumstances, but there can be circumstances around it that bring about jealousy for people. Now, I'm not defending anyone, I'm not condoning anyone, but you know me, I always like to get to the root cause. What's really causing jealousy? Why do people get jealous? As I say, it's probably true that you might only get jealous about people that you care about. And it's often said that love is just about the way that people make you feel about yourself. So if that person makes you feel good about yourself and then you think they're diverting attentions, rightly or wrongly, whether they are or not, can that make people jealous? And why would that make you jealous? I think at some point, it almost invariably is that you feel you're lacking something in yourself. You feel if you care about that person, if you want that person, and they're different things, wanting and caring are different. You can have both together, but they can be mutually separate. If you want that other person, if you care about that other person, and this is in relationships, jealousy could be about a business deal, right? It could be about. I heard an example this morning of two of my friends quarreled in business. and it was about jealousy. I heard that this morning. I'll tell you that, right? But if you want that thing, that deal, or if you want that person, if you care about that deal, if you care about that person, and you feel it's slipping away, you feel out of control. And human beings generally like to be in control to some way, shape, or form. I guess we all do, right? Danger is when you feel out of control. Okay. Going fast is okay if you feel in control. If you feel out of control, you feel scared, right? So if that is the case, is it the question that that person, and I'm going to be really balanced there, is that person doing things that really is making you jealous? Is that person being a little unfair, or are you overreacting? It's often said in a relationship, if you hold a flower too tight, it cannot breathe and it will die. Should you learn to let go and let that flower breathe and flourish and grow? Don't hold that other person too tight. But are there healthy boundaries to put into a relationship? And again, it's not a fixed answer. It's what works well for your relationship, I think. What works well for that business context. It's what works well. What is the agreed parameters in which you work? For some people, they are totally free and easy, and they let people do exactly what they want, giving untold trust. But of course, let's be honest, looking at jealousy, if you are someone out there who suffers with jealousy, it might have a lot to do with your past experiences. If you've been cheated on before, is it likely you're going to be a little bit more suspicious next time around? Probably, yeah. Probably, yes. Now, whether you have that to a healthy proportion and you got it into check is one thing. But can people get a little bit paranoid about it? Yes, they can. Now, I used to be a private investigator, okay, and I used to follow people, and sometimes is my husband having an affair? Is my wife having an affair? Is that person stealing my business IP? Is that person stealing my produce and all this, right? And we're chasing people. And I've got to tell you that when you follow people for a living professionally, as I had to, as a private investigator, when you look at people's movements, they look suspicious. They do. If I was to follow you, Nomsa, and watch you going out, I would sit and think, what is she doing? What is she do? Why has she gone in there? She didn't say she was going there. You know, I listened to her phone message this morning and it said she didn't say she was gonna go in that shop. Who's she? But it may just be a last minute thought. You thought, oh, I just remembered I need to go in there. If you was to follow me, you may think, what's he doing? It looks just you're just going about your daily business. It's all about knowing someone's modus operandi. In other words, their normal working procedure. What do they normally do? People come out the door at 7 o'clock in the morning. They turn right. They walk to the bus stop, and then they get the bus to the train station. And that's what they do Monday to Friday, right? What happens? They come out on one day and they go to the left. What are they doing? Well, maybe they're going to the doctors that day, right? Maybe they got a day off or something, or they're working from home that day. And I thought, oh, I'll just pop to the supermarket, get a few bit, But a first impression, if you're suspecting something and your antenna is up, you're looking and you receive evidence that supports your belief. I said belief, not the truth. Whatever you choose to believe, you will find evidence that supports it. So, as an investigator, you have to train yourself to keep an open mind, to gather evidence. And I remember when I first started, I saw there was some guy I was chasing who seemed like a real rough person, and I read all the things he had done to people. It seemed like a terrible person. And I was saying to the guys in the office, oh, this guy seems terrible. And they said, right, shut up. Just go and do your job, right? Just go and investigate. But I said, you don't know. It doesn't matter what's written on the paper. People write lies about people all the time. You are a trained investigator. Go and investigate. And I remember that. That was the day that I learned to not prejudge on a very big day. And you go out and you just purely gather evidence. Now, I would say if you are a jealous person, let's be honest, you know yourself if you suffer from jealousy. Maybe you've had a reason in the past to not trust people because people have been bad to you, they've cheated and stolen, they've had an affair, whatever. I get that and I do understand. But the past does not necessarily equal the future. Because one person cheated on you, it doesn't mean to say the next person is going to. One of the things I feel to look out for is the fact that if you act jealous, if you are hold the flower too tight so it can't breathe, it will want to do the opposite. It will want freedom. The more you try to hold it tight, the more it will want to escape. If you give it some space, you will generally find a much more easier person to live with, to be with, to work with. So it does take trust on both people's side. Now, the other thing, if you're watching people, I guess everybody will be at a party and they will see if someone's flirting with their partner and keep an eye, but do they keep it in proportion? They would keep an eye, but if you can be calm and self-assured in your own skin, you just impartially gather evidence. You're looking, oh, that person's talking to them, that person seems to be flirting a bit. How are they reacting? Don't overreact. Just look and be realistic. Are they doing something they shouldn't, or are they not? Don't let your emotions rule your head. Now, this is easily said, I understand, and it's not easy to do. But we often say in the world of coaching, once your emotions become high, your intelligence becomes low. Of course, the idea is to recognize, and we always say on the show about first recognizing the problem. If you find jealousy is coming up, the red mist, as some people say, jealousy is coming up, and you know it's bad, just wait. Tell yourself this is an emotion, this is not necessarily fact. And I would advise you to just take a look and realize when your emotions are high, your intelligence is low. In other words, you're not really gathering real evidence. You're gathering evidence that supports your emotion, your jealousy. So you're a human being. You are in control. You can choose your outcomes. Instead, why don't you just hold that thought, recognize that you're being jealous, and that can help to contain your emotions and settle them and allows you to open your mind to a more realistic view of what's really happening as opposed to what it feels like it's happening. That could be one thing that I help people with jealousy. Nom, sir, have you ever felt jealousy? Have you ever seen jealousy? Have you ever been a victim of jealousy? What do you think about it?
I have never been jealousy of anyone. I think for me, when it comes to relationship, I was in a long-term relationship anyway, but then when I came out, that's when I had to work on jealousy, to learn to celebrate others, and truly when someone succeed. I played football anyway. When I was playing football, you don't get jealousy. I think the mindset, like playing football, is like the mindset is completely different. You're not in this world where you want someone else's life. Like the mindset is all about winning and just putting yourself out there and just being on the pitch and just enjoying the life that you want. So I didn't truly have time to be jealous of anyone. And also, like the footballers, they help each other a lot because it's all about winning and losing. It's always about giving hugs and telling each other off and supporting each other and stuff. But I never truly become jealous of anyone. But then when I left my relationship, my long-term relationship, it was when I had to work really hard to stop being jealousy of other people, getting rid of my insecurity. working with Paul McKenna, and he's How to Mend Your Broken Heart. His first thing, what he does is working on your jealousy. Because jealousy can affect, like if you split up with somebody, you can actually become jealous of them starting a new relationship, or even in their life, when their life is start going well. Because when you split up with somebody, you have to go through the process of healing. But if that person comes out of a relationship and everything seems so well, you can easily become a stalker with them. So for me, it was really focusing on working on stopping being jealousy. I think that helped me a lot. Just doing that. But when I entered my relationship with this one now, I had to work on myself now. I had to recognize that I don't have to have insecurity. I don't have to like feel jealous with this person because I have chosen to be with that person. If they don't love me, no matter what I say or what I do, is not going to change anything. But if they choose to be with me, it's a choice. And I like it, Grant, when you said when you used to do the private investigation, you used to follow people, and when you follow people you become suspicious of something, even if there is nothing to become suspicious.
Because normal activity does
it happens. That is jealousy as well. It happens in jealousy. If you become jealous with your spouse or with your business spouse, like what you're saying, it becomes really really now that you now have to like if you are looking for something that is not there, you're gonna find suspicion anyway. So I might as well mind my own business. It's like this password and stuff in the house. Everybody knows everybody's password. So if I have nothing to hide, I haven't got nothing to hide. Or if my spouse hasn't got nothing to hide, or my children haven't got nothing to hide, if I need to get to their phone, they can give me a password, or I can give them a password to go to my phone. My daughter actually goes, she lifts up my phone and she goes, "Thumb, please." I'm like, "But that's my phone, is private." She goes, "Mommy, I need to go to your phone, thumb, please." And everyone else, "Thumb, please." So if you, yeah, I think it is like we said, Grant, even in business, I think you have to work on your insecurities, because like now I'm working, like this girl, Debbie won the Miss African GB. There's some people that she was competing with that they were talking to me before, and they are no longer talking to me. The minute she was announced the winner, people stopped talking to me and things like that. And I could see that some of it is jealousy. But for me as a person, I hadn't done anything wrong. So jealousy comes in so many ways, and people, they can feel it for the wrong reasons as well. But it takes courage to actually work on yourself. And because even like when Debbie won, now we are in a position where now she chooses her team now, because now her world is changed, and now she's choosing the people that she wants to walk with. She wants them to walk with in a different world. So it's easy that people can just become jealousy and stuff. But for me, it was then where I had to know my place. I had to know my boundaries, and I had to say, okay, I've walked with her until the end, until this beginning of life. But whatever she chooses moving forward, we've had the victory together. So I had that mindset that, like, is sending her off, that whatever she decides to do, if she says, no, so listen, I need to work with other people, I'll be okay with it. But then it was then who came back, she came back and said, I need you to continue managing me. I know my world has changed, but I still need you in my life. So I was like, okay, if that's what you want, we will continue working together. But I could have easily felt jealousy if I wasn't in a good place. But I was in that place where I'm so happy she's my girl. We've walked through darkness to the light. Whatever she decides to do, I will still hold my hand and celebrate her. And that is hard to do that. It's not easy.
No. So footballers aren't jealous?
We fight. They fight too much, no jealousy. Because they're very, very close. The mindset is different, very, very close, but they fight. They fight a lot. I never used to fight, but they fight a lot because you can't hold your emotions. We love.
Oh, your volume's gone, Nomsa.
Can you hear me?
You're back. Yep, you're back now.
Yeah, because we love each other so much, and we're very, very close. So there's no time to become jealousy, but it's time to fight. Like when we lose, somebody blames somebody.
Time to fight, but not time for jealousy. Okay.
No,
And they're not
it's
fighting
fight.
over jealousy.
Yeah, it's fight when we lose. We love each other because you become close to each other. We cry together and you are there for each other. You know each other's life, but there's no time to become jealousy. The only time that they have is fighting. When they lose, like when we lose, like sometimes somebody will be will try to blame, or sometimes is that disappointment where we just need to have a cuddle with each other and just be there for each other. But there's not really time for jealousy because you have to be strong.
Right. I mean, jealousy is often said, right, it is effectively an attack on your self-esteem. Okay. Or you feel it is an attack on your self-esteem. And that's what it is. So, and of course, as we said, like when you're first used to, as an investigator, follow people, as I say, you follow people, people's actions appear suspicious, first of all. You can become a little paranoid. And most private investigators will tell you when you first do the job, you become paranoid because you're following other people. You become paranoid that people are following you. If a car's behind you for a moment or two, you're looking in the mirror, you're doing all the things to shake them off. It's probably just someone going down the same route. No one's following you. But you become paranoid. After a little while, that shakes off and it just becomes a job. You can pick it up, you can put it down. And when you start to realize that people's actions may appear suspicious, but you don't know them. You don't know what people do every moment of the day. They don't mention it because it's not that interesting. It doesn't matter. So, but when you actually gather the evidence and keep an open, non-judgmental mind, the world looks different. So if you are feeling jealous, so we've got time to go in for today, I would just say there's a few things you can do. You've often heard us talk about the gratitude process, which is a beautiful thing to do. Okay. The gratitude process. What are you grateful for about that person? This helps you to put things in proportion. The other thing is when I hear people who are jealous, they will lecture to other people about he's doing this, she's doing this, da, 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 and you speak in absolutes as though you're right. You're not necessarily, you might be right, but you may not. Often you're wrong. Often it's not the case. What you're saying is what you feel, what your thoughts and your feelings, what your beliefs are, but you're expressing them as facts. Well, they're not a fact. They're not a proven fact. So if you're telling this to a trusted friend, I would suggest rather than telling he's doing this, she's doing this, they're doing that, say what I saw them doing was this. and it looked like this. It looked like, what do you think? And get an impartial outsider. Now, be very careful who you tell. Make sure you've not got some crazy friend who jumps to conclusions about everything, or someone who's a drama queen. They're the last people, because they'll want to turn any problem into a monumentous problem. So if you say they're doing it, they're up to something, you should do this. Or you don't want those people. You want logical, calm people. And if you don't got one, go and find one and express to them what you think you saw. And I say think, because we have a wonderful cognitive bias. If we have our mind loaded and we're looking for something, we will find it. We're all familiar with the analogy of the day you go out and buy a red car and you're thinking of red cars all the time. You don't stop seeing red cars on the road. You're obsessed that nearly everybody's got a red car. Not true. The same amount of people have a red car as always did. It's just that you're focusing more on it and you're more alerted to red cars and you're noticing more of them. So if you think that someone's being jealous, doing things to make you jealous, or they're behaving badly, if you preload your mind with that, you will spot things that indicate that they are. You're not being impartial. So ask an impartial friend and tell them what you think you saw. Don't talk in absolutes. Don't say, I saw this. Say what it looked like and ask them. A trusted friend would be a great one. Also, look at it. Context is everything, isn't it? Look at everything. Now, I had a lady once, she asked me to follow her husband. He was saying he was working late. He wasn't coming home. She was obsessed he was having an affair. He was lying. He wasn't at that job. He wasn't stuck in traffic. He took on a second job. Why? Because their big wedding anniversary was coming up and he was planning to take her away somewhere really nice. That's what he was doing. He was being dishonest. He was actually, yeah. He hadn't told her what he was doing. But he's being dishonest for the nice reason. He wasn't cheating. He was doing something wonderful. That was a very happy ending. Okay. So there you are. Context is everything. What might someone be doing? Someone's acting suspicious. Could it be a big birthday coming up? Are they planning something? Are they shuffling up because someone else is holding the present round their house and they're going to have a big surprise? Context is everything. Is that person jealous? Is that person not talking, withholding comments? Yeah, maybe they're stressed at work. Look at the context. Don't jump to conclusions. Nomsa, what would be one of your tips if someone is suffering from jealousy?
I think you ask questions. I find that because I went home once and my uncle, he was working overtime and my mom and my uncle's daughter were like really worried, just thinking he was having an affair because his wife, she was away. And then I was like, why don't you ask him? So I heard them talking, and then my mom said to my uncle's daughter, just keep your voice down and make sure Nomsa does not hear you, but I heard them anyway. So then I said to them, why don't you ask him? So then my uncle walked in and I said, Uncle, are you having an affair? And then he looked at me like, oh, are you mad? I said, no, don't worry. It's not me. It's your sister and your daughter. They are worried that are you having an affair? Can you tell them what you get up to? And then he explained to himself that he's working overtime. He decided to take overtime because he wanted to go to a different city. So he needed more money. So he explained himself. So then they both looked at me and my mom said, never say anything in front of Nomsa. And then I think it is something to do with the communications. And also there are some men who will do anything to make it their girlfriend, their spouse jealous. There are some women who do anything to make their spouse feel jealousy, and there are coaches who are actually encouraging how to make him jealousy, how to make her jealousy. For me, it's playing with someone's mind.
Yeah.
I cannot make someone jealous because that means that I'm playing games. So playing games with a human being is not necessary.
I agree not to.
Yeah, communicate.
Communicate is great, and you're right. There are people out there who will coach people to make your partner jealous to see if they care. I think you're playing with fire. I really don't like that. I've been involved all kinds of things where people have asked me to teach people these skills or those. I will not do it. It's one of my moral factors. It's one of my values. I won't do it. I play a straight game with people, and I think really this is the point. It is communication, as you're saying, and really, as you said, you need to ask the person. You need to tell them your background, where you're coming from. If you've had people who have cheated on you in the past, maybe you're a bit predisposed to now suspecting people are doing that. So you need to express that, communicate that with your partner so that they can be a little bit mindful. Now, if you are a person, I'm going to put a different spin on this now. If you are a person who wants to make their partner jealous to see if they care, be very careful. Be very careful what you ask for, because you just might get it and you may not like the outcome. I would never suggest, like Nonsa says, I would never suggest playing games with people. Does it work? Yeah, probably does, but it's really it's a short-term strategy that can inherit a long-term problem. And it's morally quite wrong to play someone's feelings like that. Be honest, express your true feelings with someone, don't play games with them. Because if you start to make people jealous, you could trigger something very bad in that person and they may become a stalker. You're playing with their affections, which is very cruel and unkind. Imagine if it was done to you. You could say, oh, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't react. Well, maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you would. But don't judge other people by yourself. People are different. And people have got a different background and a different history. And you don't always know what it is. People don't always tell you. They should communicate it, but they don't. This is why sometimes you see people that will act a little bit odd. You've got to be curious. And I think this works for both the person, if you're feel that someone's being jealous with you, or if you are the person who's being jealous. Try to adopt the behavior of being curious. Curious for the truth, not the feeling. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling jealous? Or why is that person being jealous of me? Am I doing something that trigger? Am I being a little bit insensitive? Am I doing something that's triggering that person? Should I take a little more care? Now, this is a delicate conversation because I know that some jealous people will blame the other person for making them jealous and try to make it their problem. Sometimes it is, sometimes it really isn't. It's not a question of do or don't, it's a question of where the line is drawn. What is reasonable? You shouldn't go out flirting with other people. That's not a good thing. That's only going to lead to trouble, isn't it? Let's be honest. But if your friend is your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife is talking to someone else, that's it. I had a jealous girlfriend once who said, like, have you got female clients? Years ago, and yeah, he's talking to someone like, he's a client. And I was like, I can't just have male clients. It's crazy. And I explained it, and they actually laughed when I said it. They realized they were being unreasonable. But so it allowed them to take a look at what they were saying. It was just crazy. But there are people out there, they will want that. And again, it's a question of parameters. Does that work for you? It's about setting boundaries in your relationship, healthy boundaries. Are you in a marriage or a relationship where you don't go out and see other people? You just are happy and content with each other. If that works well for you, fantastic. If you go out and mix with other people, is that a good thing? It's not for me to judge. It's whatever works well for you. People say, oh, you need time out. Not everybody does. Not everyone does. What you're saying is you need time out. And you're right. If you feel you do, it means you do. Don't judge other people by that. So the greatest thing in a relationship, as Nomsa said, is communication, communicating the boundaries. What's going to work for you too, not what's going to work for them, not what's going to work for you, what's going to work for you both as a couple. What's going to work for you both as business partners? All right. What's going to work? What are the boundaries to draw up? so that you can not be triggered into jealousy. You will not be triggered into wanting to make the person jealous. That you can live a happy, harmonious, trusting, loving relationship that can flourish and grow. Because from that, the best things always happen. That's what I think. Nomsa, what do you think?
I agree with you, Grant, when you say when somebody plays with somebody mind games, you could trigger something that could destroy someone's character. I 100% agree with you. And also, if you by any chance you feel jealousy, just check with yourself what is making you feel that way. Is this person making you feel that way? Do you feel that you are not good enough to be with that person? And if that's how you feel, communicate, be vulnerable, have that courage to communicate with your spouse, because they might be doing something that is making you feel that way, or it might be in the past what has happened, how you've been treated. That means you still need to deal with those kind of things, like the past attachment. So, and then just communicate, or just get a counseling, get counseling, because normally what we project outside is what we feel on the inside. So it's really, really important to actually make sure that you feel the love that you deserve, and to make sure that you feel loved, and to make sure that you love yourself. But when you feel that you don't feel loved, or you feel that person, they're gonna walk away from you. Me, I'm so lucky because in my church they teach us so many things. It's like we're going there to learn to be soldiers. We have prayers where you will ask yourself question: if somebody is not treating you right, who are they to you? Are they God? Because God is the creator of the earth. Why do you feel insecurity with that person? Why do you feel you're not good enough with that person? Why do you feel other people are better than you? Why do you feel that maybe sometimes when you go into the crowd, there are some people who just like to talk, they want to be the center of attention. So those things that we look at it really, really deeply. So you can look at those things, and if you feel that that's how you feel, and just go and get counseling and look after yourself, because it's not very nice to date somebody and you feel you're not good enough with them. And it's also no good when somebody, I was talking to my friend the other day. I said it's so painful when somebody does not want to be in a relationship with you. When they break up with you, they actually trust you. But then I was like, why do they feel they're so important and you are not important? And my friend was like, it's just so confusing, because when I speak to my clients, they're like, I lost my confidence because my ex told me I was this. But I'm like, that's not fair. That if somebody will leave you, and they'll leave you, they don't want to be with you because you're not compatible, or they need to deal with some stuff, but then there's no point in that person trashing you, and then they leave you. But if somebody is not into personal development, they could be left with scars. Right. So what I will ask, that would be my words of encouragement, because I've got another meeting, is know that whatever goes on in a relationship is never your fault. Even the arguments is never your fault. It means that there is something that you need to look into it. You need to look at it within yourself, and check in with yourself, and just dealing with that problem without blame. Or if you feel that this person is not good enough, everybody's allowed not to be good enough for you because we're all walking in different journey, but it does not mean that is their fault. So it's not necessary to trash that person. Just leave them trash. Guys, those who breaking up, do the breakup gentle. When you listen to the clients, I'm sure, Grady, you've heard the stories from the clients, what they tell you.
Yeah, loads of them, But I think, in essence, if, and emphasize the word if, I'm not saying if you are going out there and you're playing a game, making someone jealous, stop it. Just stop it. Bad thing. It's really showing your lack of self-esteem. Go ahead and work on your self-esteem. That's better. You'll be much more attractive when you have self-esteem, confidence, not arrogance, okay, but confidence. That is much more attractive than trying to make someone jealous. Now, I'm not saying, I would say a very small percentage of people out there are actually doing that. It does exist. Now, but if you are suffering from jealousy, and you know if you are, if you do suffer with jealousy, if you're being honest, you haven't got to admit it to anyone else. One, ask yourself, why do I get jealous? What is the root cause? When did this first happen? What is the trigger? Why do I feel it's affecting my self-esteem? Am I talking in facts or beliefs? Is it a fact? Am I seeing this through the wrong lens? Communicate. Don't argue, but communicate. And what's the volume of your voice when you communicate? Don't be, what's your body language? Don't be accusational. Be question. And if you are having a partner who's expressing this to you, don't blame them. Don't jump down their throat because they're suffering at some level. Even if they're being jealous, they're suffering. Be gentle. They're your business partner. They're your friend. They're your teammate. They're your lover. They're your husband. They're your wife. Take care of them and try to allay their fears. Okay. Be nice. Understand and try to be mindful of that. Again, if you're suffering from jealousy, if you're a victim of jealousy, try to take a little bit of time out. Spend time with nature. Spend some time with nature is a good thing. Spend some good time meditating. It helps you to see the real picture as opposed to the emotional picture. This will affect your approach to it next time it occurs, and it will allow you to take a more non-judgmental view. And that's the best way to resolve these situations. After a while, when people are presented with the fact that nothing is happening, then there is no reason for the feeling to exist. And it should, and I emphasize the word should, reduce or go away. If it doesn't, consider therapy. Consider therapy, because if it's a long-standing thing, you may as well, because you're not happy and everybody wants you to live a happy life, okay? And by seeing a therapist, they can help you to see the truth as opposed to the feeling, and then that can bring you to peace. And that will be my quick tips around it, okay? Be careful, because jealousy can affect everything that goes on in your life. It can affect your health, very much so. It affects your mental health. It can bring about feelings of self-guilt, shame, pain, okay? Self-doubt. You may not realize it. It affects your work performance, your health performance, and certainly your love performance. It's not a great thing. So check it, keep it in check, ask yourself the questions which we put to you here. And if not, reach out to us if you're suffering from it, and we can help you to coach you through it to get out the other side and live a happy life. That's my words of encouragement. Over to you, Nomsa.
And also for me, I'm gonna have to go quickly, guys. I've got another meeting. Also, just know that you are enough. You're beautiful, whatever shape you might be, you are enough. As a man, you are enough. As a woman, you are enough. You don't really need to feel that somebody else is better than you. You don't need to feel that if you are in a relationship, you don't feel you don't deserve it. You don't need to feel like that. If you've been cheated before, rejected, and those people, they do what they did because they got things they're dealing with themselves, not because of you. You were not cheated because of what you've done wrong, or you were not rejected because of what you have done wrong. We're all walking in this path of life with our baggage. So don't let somebody's baggage be your burden forever. Just get rid of that burden and live with grace. God bless, guys. I'm going to have to go. Are you coming with me, Grant?
I'm coming with you. I'm coming with you. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, you need to stop the live because it's you that is doing. Just press stop.
Or end.
Yeah, you can press end. That's fine.
There we go.